of other schools, and we've got our people who are enabling us to bring them in our respective districts and electorates. Let us all say our Lord's Prayer together. Our Father,
honorable members, me also chair bin electoral clear lo de la parliament long. Election bla leader bla opposition. Ibin got two bla pass. I come up lo me. One bla come lo leader bla opposition member long. Kiruna good enough, Honorable Douglas Tumrasi. Now I'm la pass ikam long Honorable James Nomane, member of Suave. Tubla letters economy emi conflicting. Lo record lo board walikisim. So lo display the sol. And me now also say make him the look sabe also. Until such time, all opposition only hold a proper caucus meeting blongol. Nalgen makim nubla leader or only makim current leader of opposition is subject. And until such time, me still look sabe long. Honorable Douglas Tumrasi, member of long, Kiruna good enough for some opposition leader. Siatu iksim narpla pasikam long leader law opposition long revoke him appointment belong honorable member of the Suave also deputy opposition leader and I may appoint him Honorable James Donald, member of the Not Fly, also deputy opposition leader, MCA2 looks having a display. So, no deputy opposition leader, Honorable James Donald, a member of the Not Fly. So, also past the meeting finish until such time all opposition only sit down, no only holding proper caucus long all. Nali like make him send his opposition leader and all this lah. Now look sabe blosia by stop also. Also me can't finish. All honorable members, me like kisim desa look sabe. Lo talk lo yumi also mi garol sumatin now teacher long Erebu Adventist Primary School. Now sumatin now teachers lo Sacred Heart Berena Primary School. Lo Central Province all staff want them yumi now lo public gallery so lo behalf lo Parliament. Mi warm mi salem or extend him this lo welcome lo ibla lo staff lo Parliament. Any petitions? Notices? Mr. Clark? Notice?
promise not to alter the law on provincial governments and local governments and for initiatives.
Aski minoga talk savelongan popular 10 minutes. Honorable member Loabao.
Thank you, Speaker. Before I ask my question in the office to the Minister of Provincial Affairs and Local Government Affairs, I wish to, on behalf of the people of Abang, congratulate the member for Central Government for making a change on a Speaker, the minister responsible is not in the chamber, so may I direct my questions to the Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, 12 days before polling of the local government, the Electoral Commissioner issued a notice that the polling would be deferred September 22nd, which means that it was effectively delayed by another 3 months, just 12 days before the polling started. In the notice that the Electoral Commission released on the 30th of June, the Electoral Commissioner highlighted 4 reasons why the LG elections were deferred. And may I be given the opportunity to outline some of the 4 that will form the basis of my questions to the Prime Minister. Number 1, the unprecedented scale and complexity of elections underway. Elections, and then the different modes of elections in 12 provinces where people will elect the president, and then in Amasa in the highlands, the board members after the election elect the president. And obviously the by-elections were part of this, so there was a complexity. Mr. Speaker, highlighting the need and the failure by the executive government to undertake this important local level government at this time, knowing very, very well that we were entering the 50th anniversary year, and then this complexity of elections highlighted by the Electoral Commission. Second reason here, was proclamation of late notification on new wards and new local level government. The SEC approved 541 new wards, 43 new LLGs, 500 plus wards and 70 LLGs were provided to the Electoral Commission in May 2025, 1 month after the ritual issue. Mr. Speaker, this points to the poor administration and management of the LLG elections at day 1. The NEC approved 541 new wards, 43 new LLGs, and the Minister for Provincial Affairs and Local Level Government and the Minister responsible for LLGs and his secretary and his department failed to prepare these new wards and LLGs in readiness for the LLG election. The third and further 1,000 new ward rolls were to be prepared after the ritual issue
not making it up. It is coming straight from the Electoral Commission public notice. 43% of the 39 districts have different wards and LG structures to the 2022 elections. 118 out of 334 LGs, or 32%, have been established or established since 2019. So, NEC in its decision, in my view, Mr. Speaker, messed this entire system up to begin with. Third reason was administrative irregularities requiring resolution by
Honorable Member for Bauchi is interrupting you. You are making statements. Can you ask your question?
I want to give this background because the questions are straightforward. The people of Papua New Guinea need to know why this year, 12 months before the polling started, the Electoral Commission deferred the election. Ogara line also compared to candidate Ogara Moni finish 12 days before that. Anyway, many irregularities. Fourth one and the final one was funding and procurement delays. The 100 billion appropriated in 2024 budget was never 2025. The 2025 budget appropriation was never delivered by the time the Electoral Commission issued this notice in June of 2025. Mr. Speaker, the questions are, can the Prime Minister admit that the government has drastically failed the people of Papua New Guinea by badly preparing for the mess that his government through NEC decisions create? And can the Prime Minister apologize to the people? Can the Prime Minister acknowledge that the NEC failed in its hurry to approve so many wards and so many LGs? Can the Prime Minister inform this Honourable House, where are these new wards? Where are these LGs? Can the Honourable House be given the privilege of that information? Can the Prime Minister acknowledge that the NEC decision, after so-called consulting with the provincial government, to hold two different modes of elections for president? Can the Prime Minister admit that that was a mistake? And that can the Prime Minister and his minister make an undertaking to provide a legislative that will conduct a uniform process in the LG elections rather than two different modes of LG elections? I would have thought, Mr. Speaker, that the Highlands region and the Momase region, according to the Parliamentary Committee on Elections, noted that these were hotspots in the 2022 elections. That the NEC and the Electoral Commissioner would have allowed the presidents to be elected by the people in these two hotspots as readiness for the 2027 elections, preparing the processes better for the coming national elections. Can the Prime Minister make an undertaking to remove two people, that is a Secretary for Provincial Affairs and Local Government, because they failed to prepare this excess number of wards and LLGs in readiness for LLG elections? second person, I'm recommending for NEC to replace himself is the current electoral commissioner because he has passed his legal biological age for retirement. Lastly, can I ask the Prime Minister to explain to the people of Papua New Guinea the reasons to allow the Electoral Commissioner to verify the reasons why the Electoral Commissioner delayed this important election by 3 months to voting to take place on the 27th. And finally, by the time I had a visit from my district CEO 1 week before the polling because he was called by the provincial election manager to have a meeting. When he came back, he told me that the province had not received any funding from the electoral commission. Can Mr. Speaker, can the Prime Minister make sure that this important issue of timely funding be managed better than it had been for many, many years?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Member Lamal, for asking a series of important questions. First of all, the sound of Member of the Central Government, the Echo of Winning Garcia, the only representation to the sound of their people. The election is look forward to to fulfill the people's aspirations. We have also the sound of CM Economic, Member of Northfly, Mark Deputy of Selena. As a child of the Northfly district, where we spent 6 years of my early life, first 6 years of my life in Northfly district, I want to congratulate Northfly. The highest office in the opposition, His Majesty's opposition. I want to also look down on beginning Nairobi, our teachers. One Saturday, I went unannounced to Nairobi for a church up there, and I was graciously hosted by them, which are local opinion in Nairobi, and also another opinion in Amsterdam. And to all our teachers, thank you for staying faithful. Not just in Nairobi, but right throughout our country. Question from Member Blabla on the popular question. We like reminded Jimmy Ogada and our country, we need election in heaven now, successful time. We are picking up from the slacks of 2017 election preparations. 2017, national elections in Iran, LNG elections were deferred with no proper programming or unprogrammed deferral based on, at the time, the rush to stage 2017 elections. So the LNG elections was indirectly pushed back as a consequence of the 2017 lack of preparations. So we pick up the 2020, the energy elections in midterm with no consequential legislative amendments to anchor the midterm elections or last term. It is what it is, it has happened. So energy elections for last term happened, I think in 2018 or 2019 is my memory. I stand to be correct. Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament will be reminded that I think sometimes last year we passed a law securing that LNG elections now, that has also a retrospective effect of giving and affirming the 5-year tendency of the last return of which all LNGs and in starting midterm elections for all LNGs. This time we're having midterm going forward. So as an indirect consequence of the 2017 energy elections, we've now arrived at a system and something that I am seeing it in the positive, that we will have something similar to what happened in the U.S. Congress or Senate, U.S. Senate, with midterms and rotations going on in jurisdiction. Mr. Speaker, we have you leader in terms of the electoral process. It's very important that this group of leaders and we like kissing to a question that talks sorry to among the candidates that you staff nationwide for you to feel the pain of this seemingly unpreparedness and seemingly actual deferment that has taken place that has affected the length of time. So kissing to a question, wrong at all, so that, wrong at all, and we have been affecting all the candidates we need throughout the country. The senators and council president, but nonetheless, it is not abandoned. The election is still happening. Cabinet was advised of the consequences of running election right in the face of a 50th and the contestants that were taking place. And the electoral commissioner is not wrong. There were many elections running at the same time, all demanding time, resource, and supervision from the electoral commission. Right now, 6 by-elections running. Multiplicator, the assembly was running. The autonomous region of Bukavu, while we have no direct oversight, there's an element of resource allocation and just a lateral glance at what is happening there. The Bukavu government's election is running. And of course, the LLG, compounded with the also the local level government trying to clear population-based submissions that came in. And these submissions are as old as 5-6 years dates back sometime that these LLGs must change. These LLGs must change, or the wards must be split. The LLGs must be created. Those submissions came in, I think it came in, and some came in pretty late. The good news is that we have made some better advice from the Electoral Commission. Those LLGs that are new, we stop it past them because we look at following supplementary election PR. But the other LLGs are running its course. We intend to deliver the elections as we scheduled. I want to indicate to all our people and all our contestants on the ground. Someone from, I just give an example from elected, the flying flyer candidates. I call them flying flyer candidates. They don't live in Tarim. They live in Moscow and they just want to go up there and nominate them. And then they come back. For me, an indirect benefit is that it eliminates the flying flyer candidates. The actual LLG leadership must be on the ground with the people. So even if it is 1 month late, for me, for Tarim, eliminates the flying flyer candidates. Election of councillor, you must think that other people on the ground know that. Councillor, you don't spend money on our councillor. Leadership for you, massive for you, doctor for you, steering taker for you, killing pig for you, move up for you, and leadership on the ground. So indirectly, that extension has eliminated the flying flyer, cash-based politics that has eroded the value of leadership. So, sometimes in the hindsight, the pushback in like we plan on parallel elections. Elections will still run after the 50th occasion has been dealt with. After September 16th, elections comes up the next week. So, without Soros, I was of course an inconvenience for the candidate. It is what it is. Electoral Commissioner is aware. Each Electoral Commissioner is aware. I don't supervise everyday work with the Electoral Commissioner. My own views of the Electoral Commission and the way it's running, I just want to be transparent. I'm not happy with the way it's running. There's really a recurring job every 5 years for the Electoral Commission to be prepared for elections. And the process in dealing with incompetency is like incompetencies at all levels. The process will be deployed. There are certain where leadership is maintained and leadership is removed. About your concern, it's as good as my concern. We are absolutely concerned about the capacity of key of these constitutional officers, including the Electoral Commission, and some of the statistics we're getting, some of those key officers look into. I would not say I have power to deal with them in response to questions like this. Certainly, based on competency, performance, and circumstances arise, due processes will take its course to see whether these officers could be held by current incumbent or otherwise going forward. And I want to say, suffice to say, I hope this round of my response in summary, right from the ratio of 5 or 6 questions you raise, I'll get my office to get through the questions you raise if I could ask that honorable member to send it in writing, the questions to me. We'll get a good response back to you in writing, as well as look into some of the matters that we made to our elderly contestants nationwide. The extension has come to also indirectly show you don't need money to win your seat at the elections. Your leadership will ensure people vote for you. To our people throughout the country, I'm like councillor, president, contestant, come for the money, no one can see money. Or even people, members of parliament, no one asking money and no one can see money. So about time we move to a state where we vote for leaders based on the merit of voting for leaders. I want to also indicate, as I'm reminded in my notes, the two-presidential system is something that we all must actually face. Both sides of the House. So as part of our 50th anniversary work in the reset, I received stress or contest in my own caucus from the governors, and we have 2 clusters of governors. One wants people to elect the eligible presidents. One wants the eligible presidents to come up with the board councillors to elect the president. I think all of us go deep with it, and we all agree, as a good senior member said, there should be one format of election of presidents to our country, and something to represent to our people for 50 years in our discussions. Thank you so much, the members who shoot me the questions, those questions are very inviting. I will make a concerted effort to do the plan also for this parliament.
Supplementary, Honorable Governor Blong. Morobe?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the to ask a supplementary question. Before I proceed with that supplementary question, on behalf of the people of Robe Province, constituted of almost 1 million people, I'd like to congratulate the new member for Central Voting Bills that were elected by the process of by-election. I congratulate you. And I don't need to tell you what you need to do, but I think most of this is very clear. And I'm sure you will work with the President, Ismail Kurama, to implement or to make sure the dreams of the older people are realized one day. And you have my support, you know that I need to support you and you need my help. I will stand by to help you. Mr. Speaker, I have very much supplementary question to the Honourable Prime Minister. Honourable Prime Minister, the Section 24, Section 1 of the Organic Law on Provincial and Local Level Government states very clearly that the election of the National Parliament pursuant to Section 105 of the Constitution and the election of the elderly president must be concurrent. Concurrent. That is the words of Section 34. Unfortunately, the election of the elderly president, I understand that previously, was in 2019. And 2019, so if you're calculating as 5-year plan or lifetime of the elderly council president or board council, it will expire last year, 2024. So if they continue to hold position as a board councillor and as the LLG, it will be legal. If you're going by 5 years, if you're going by Section 34, Section 1 meaning together with Section 105 of the Indian Constitution. Unfortunately, Prime Minister, the election the election has not been conducted concurrently. And we have challenged, Mr. Speaker, in the Supreme Court, Mount Girway, the referrer, and the Board of Provincial Government, Provincial Executive Council as the winner, the challenge in the Supreme Court. And we told the Supreme Court.
Honorable Governor, what is your supplementary question?
I appreciate how very business in very short time. The Prime Minister needs to know the context in which I'm asking this question, or I'm going to ask this question. So the Supreme Court has made a wrong decision. We argued in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has made a wrong decision.
We have a point of order. Honorable Minister, what is your point of order?
That's up to the Supreme Court. It's the Supreme Court statement. It's up to the Supreme Court.
Point of order, blue in order, Minister. Honorable Governor Morbe, you go straight to ask him, blue. No. Through the chair.
If it continues, yes, then I will be shocked. Mr. Speaker, so my question is, the ruling of the Supreme Court made it is discretionary, it's no longer compulsory. That is why the Speaker, the Electoral Commissioner, is continuing to extend it his own will. Because the interpretation is wrong. So I'm asking the Prime Minister, I know that you have no power in the Constitution of any of this country to direct the Electoral Commission to act in the way we are people. But you're the head of the government. You're in control of this government. You have every right to tell them what the government and the people of this nation think for the goodness of the people of this country. So, Prime Minister, I'm asking you, could you tell or recommend, that's the right word, recommend to the Electoral Commissioner to declare this election indefinitely until we fix the law. And fixing the law, making sure the lifetime of the council president and council votes is legislated. If it's 5 years, 5 years. And it starts from when and finishes on when. We need the legislation to fix that thing. Second, Dr. Campbell rightly posted in relation to the election of the council president and the board councillors. There must be uniformity in this country in relation to the manner in which we elect and the time that is going to hold in relation to the council president and the board. So I'm asking you, for the sake of uniformity in this country, can we have the council president in bill letter, council president to be elected by the people, and then it is 5 years, and the council should be elected by the people, and then should be 5 years. I ask you your message, Prime Minister, to recommend to the Electoral Commission. Otherwise, we will have Electoral Commission today standing and making the people suffer as now the member for how is killing his parliament and the nation here. And the councils are very suffering.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The particular Governor Norway, Governor Wenger, asking this question. Again, I stand to be corrected that this is my consideration. This Parliament has already considered an amendment, and there is an amendment to law that has secured midterm 5-year run retrospective to the last time the election was held, so effectively has legalized the vacuum created as a result of the 2017 referendum. let me get my notes revised. I'll get the relevant minister and the department to affirm whether there is a vacuum in law. In my considered view, the vacuum has been filled. The amendment is Parliament, the 10th Parliament has considered already. But on the issue of making uniformity in the LSD presidential elections, it is a fair consideration. It is a fair consideration to the country as a split of recommendations making from different provincial assemblies. We have provincial governments we have in our country, the 500 provinces and Morobe province want the current mode of presidential elections where councillors are electing their presidents to be maintained for this election, and of course the rest of our provinces want the people to elect the president. So we do have these two different modes, and also it's added to the congestion and resource allocation and administrative process, especially on securing relevant ballot papers and relevant ballot materials, voting materials. I want to inform the supplementary governor and every one of you, as I speak today, all relevant materials are now processed, finalized, prepared. And I want to thank the Australian government. We had made a call to them in terms of printing the ballot papers. Our own government printing was not able to print out the correct required ballot paper type. And so a call was made and we procured those printing overseas, and they have been lifted, prepared, and in fact the Australian government has also gone out to make sure the logistics and delivery to our provinces will take place. So it has been finalized and prepared as we speak. But coming back to the two types of presidential election again, all of us, all regions and all of the provinces, we must decide on one format. If you ask for my own personal view, my view is people must elect the president, but again, my view is not all by and all. Simplistic to the collective needs of all of us, especially resolutions from the provincial governments concerned on your choice of mode of election. Let's study this part of our 50th anniversary law changes from this year to next year, September 16 or 15. We must clean up some of this so that we prepare our country to live beyond 50 years in a uniform manner. So some of the other matters was here as was spectacular.
We have another supplementary, Honorable Governor for Pacific.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My supplementary is quite short. Number one, first of all, let me express my gratitude to the PM for his commitment for the midterms, because I think that's the right way to go. But I think you need to, the first question is, I don't recall having passed this particular amendment. And you could ask your lawyers and God, I want you to give a commitment to bring the amendment to the floor to you, Mr. Speaker. The second one is, this is taken from my work as the chairman of the Special Committee on Elections. These 543 wards, could the Prime Minister also, in his undertaking to give us a response later on in detail, could you also bring to the House these 543 votes? And so we can be transparent about how these votes are being created. The information I received, Mr. Speaker, by way of a very short explanation, is that some members of Parliament create additional votes so that they can use it when it comes to elections. So we've got to tidy up this correlation between the new votes, whether they're real votes or mythical votes. And therefore, if the Prime Minister continues undertaking to bring that list of votes to Parliament so we know that it's something to do with it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good supplementary question, Mississippi. The new votes, one of the ministry processing cabinet is approved. Public, direct number here, and also Topsala people and Topsala Parliament will process the creative discretionary vote. How much probability vote is that? I don't know how to ask the vote. It's proper for the country to know which are the new votes created. I'll get the minister concerned. Because this question has come to me, so
sometime this time next week, the Parliament can give me a time to get a response on this one. The country is in search of knowledge and technology. The population is increased, the process of obtaining people of water, when we talk about the Union Organization, everyone is clear, all the provinces too can locate because councillor and important leaders. I think there was a campaign not too long ago, people like Akuin or Muksar, some of the resources too, long of councillors leaving. At that Mr. Pepe Kami thought, walk the world must come clear. If you make it from a provincial government, no one walk for clear. Walk the delay, no one walk clear. So people are that part of these clearance will be walking. We will very soon government initiative. We will get the full report out on which new works are created, those that are being defended in terms of the elections, and also in the same paper, I think it's advisable to this House what are the process and steps required for what to be created and undertaken.
Honorable Governor Blong, Northern Province, Oro.
Series of questions directly to the Minister of Mining. I'd also like the Minister responsible for environment, conservation, and water take over, as well as the Prime Minister. My series of questions pertain to the potentially largest nuclear football project in Bangladesh. The house of local governments, the Mumbai People Focus Project. I'll give some background of this project. I'll be brief, Mr. Speaker, and then I'll also the series of questions that I wish to ask the ministers so that we can clarify with the government, the ministry, so that the people of work can be aware of why this project is sold, continues to be sold, to get into the particular project I speak of is one people follow project, exploration license 1390. We understand that the company that owns the license that applies for mining license, specifically for Eastern 114 and 132. We also understand that some of the mining licenses were granted by the previous Minister of Mining, so who are giving without the clearance of the Mining Advisory Council. My efforts to get clarification from the General Speaker of the Authority is over objective. I sent 2 letters requesting information. I don't think that this is one resolution from this organization on my letters that I have written seeking clarification on behalf of my people. The next request is due. Minister, I believe that the MRA is taking for a certain of the application and was made to report to the MSC for deliberations. But today, I seem to have been with the vote. Yet the mining minister, please advise whether the Mining Advisory Council has dealt with the matter, and if so, what was the MSC recommendation? Furthermore, I believe that the 530 has not been registered on the Federal Register. Hence, all people cannot proceed with the development of the project. Yet the minister advised the people of why there is a delay. Thirdly, I am aware that the Mumbai project in our province has the potential to be a large-scale mining project similar to the Ravalino project in the Nene province. But the question is, if this project is projected to be bigger than the Ravalino project, why is Ravalino applying for mining lease and not a special mining lease? The people of our province have been waiting for this project for a very long time to develop and to appreciate some clarification on this matter. May I add, ministers, please hold your departments, authorities, ministry to account. They are not responding to our letters. Why is it? We are elected by our people. We represent them, and we question. What is happening in our province and the streets? I would propose that these particular public servants
were not responsive, don't seem to care about the economy. That should be said. Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Several ministers and it's ended up in many days. I will confirm that I received from him. I'm not sure my mind on it. And I want to put on record that yes, my department is not responsive. And I come to understand that in particular the managing director is not responding to simple responses that ministers or members or vice ministers that do not have been writing to us. So I am going to put him on notice. I say this to the elected members on the floor and the trees, and even to media to minister as well. So for me, my department, I confirm I received a written response from questions from the good governor, which which I have told them to devotion in particular respect to this project. The granting of the ML 530, which have been previously mentioned, when I inquired on the details of the project, yes, there was some process within MRA which were not completed for the grant, which Mr. Governor, through the Speaker, through you, I written to MD, and they met last month on the 16th June. And I have informed in my office a letter that's dated this month, 20th, and NSC has met, special NSC meeting, particularly to address the questions that is raised and the issues of why we have not started this project. So in that special NSC meeting, it was understood that there was some form of element where process to reflect to MRA will not follow. Thus, the recommendation to me in letter of women, first document of this year, NSC meeting happening on this project, I told them yes. There was one special meeting that happened last month, and that recommendation has been sent to me, which is the recommendation is to cancel the previous grant that was given by the previous minister. And canceling that grant, I'm not going to go back because one of those processes, few of those processes, guided by the mining act were not fulfilled. And it is compulsory for that process to happen for our minister to grant. So therefore, first question, yes, NSC indeed. Leading up to that, they written a letter to me which I will announce and we will cancel because the process itself, I am guided by the process. So that process was not fulfilled, so thus we will cancel that particular year for the project. Number two, the size of the project, as mentioned, Ramunikot, I think it's Ramunikot who has some issues with it, but then because one, the good government has some government related to raise issues on when the expensive program will happen and when the provincial government will come into play. And I think the good government being very understand that once we use the process for mining this, the individual or SML time will come to the landowners, they come into play. So I can assure, same as that in the size and magnitude of project, project yes, you will confirm of the future project, and they call the cobalt project, resource definition, some questions come to confirm the size. The particular application, yes, it's in the mining list form. Unlike gold, copper, or anything go down, nickel and it was surface doing stripping. Surface stripping, you also nickel, so the process is quite different. So So therefore, the government for many years, and even if there's any change or extension ongoing on external process, and governor and plus district members will be very much involved in the process and go to the next stage of our the third one, whenever you follow your place, we apologize to be a man. And then we support the notice through this question. We're going to notice the years to respond. And I apologize that my responsibility to come with those good letter, provoking me to setting up this special ABC meeting, and thus we will go ahead with the cancellation. Governor, I will work with you to your office and the other open members to ensure that immediately this project through the normal process preliminary. Now, mining act, they ensure that deal must given to right way, they start the projects of the people who work in benefit to these projects. I commit my department and my ministry to ensure I work with the relevant departments, including governor law. I think it is also governor, yes, to respond to this. I responded and I can do a written response including the MA recommendations, ABC recommendations, and my issue. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Nawab.
Thank you, Speaker. We'll give me the time for the voices of Nawab to be heard in this prestigious house this morning. Thank you. Questions without numbers. I'd like to direct this directly to our good Minister for Works and Highway. And I would like the good Prime Minister and also the Minister for Police to take note. Although these elections in 2022, the first phone call I made was to my mother. The reply I got from her was straight out, remember your people. Not the regulations. Remember your people. By joining the esteemed leaders here, I've come to find out that a handful of people have never heard of Nauru. I don't know why. But now it seems to be in the dark corners of it. On September the 12th, we had the launching of our 5-year plan. And there was commitments made to the people of Norway, which we are still waiting on. Norway, the geography of Norway is made up of something that's unbelievable. It's made up of sand and mud. No stone, sand and mud. We can spend 800,000 kina on fixing a landslide, and yet the next day, it's collapsed again. We appreciate the money coming from the government. We appreciate every support that comes from the government. But we need assistance, we need a commitment that was made to push mountains over. We can't go around mountains anymore. We have, every kilometre we have a river. We have landslides on the coastal side and on the mountain side, everywhere. It becomes to our attention that I believe Norway people have been categorized as beggars. We all put here as what number of people on the blood. We are not above our people. So whatever assistance we can get or commitment that's made, I'd ask the good minister, please. 2024, as you said, the roads will be worked on. We're still waiting. I've been asked every time I go out, sorry, remember you, Yaman Olipla. I now would like the people of Norway to acknowledge you are not beggars. I on behalf of the people on the Big Island, I will take a kneel now. To the minister, I'm begging, please,
Have him talk now.
look at our people. We don't want his hand at the moment. Whatever we get, as I said, we appreciate it. Finance Minister, thank you very much. Whatever you put through our people. We're stretching every toy we get through our system. We're treating every toy like 1,000 kina. And we are making forward movements in our history. But please, commitments. If you have the chance, please look at your commitments. I think there's a lot of other people in that category. Just help us a bit more. You know, Ngawe, as I said, the geography of Ngawe is second to none. Second to none. And it's only made, as I said, it's only made of mud and sand. And whatever assistance we can get, please, we would appreciate anything at all. So, Minister, please, do not forget Ngawe. I want Ngawe to come out of the dark corners. I don't want my people to be beggars. I'll just beg for them. Thank you, Speaker.
Ariadna, give me.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, through you, Speaker, this plan of particular good plan. Question, good law points you, raising on behalf of the people of Ngawe. I confirm that before last year, the plan, September 12, 2011, Ngawe, making some commitment. Because Ngawe, when the road started to era, that Hatigoran Ngawe might be a company of the syndicate, and the staff person of the electric so the staff person of the also company person of mountain side, Moana, Ngawe. If you got some more recently, that's the road will be very important road. We are trying to make commitment from supporting you recently, from joining and making some maintenance work and connecting to the general city. Now also if you got some road, backside of the city, so now I open them also in some places. For this time we play that for sketches for secretary now. Now we play start law, making some changes to law, or funding we start putting for connectivity, for fraud, and people of communication as a connectivity, priority must follow national highways. And then underneath the Sudan by improving, we got some more funding, people of missing links or economic or corridors. And then we got more fundings where that one and more sub-national roads. Sub-national roads, there are more funds for the provinces and our districts. But we apply by enough the helping ones for roads. So some of our fundings will be back through the district, and we got that supporting. Now also through law, sub-national roads fundings where every part in underneath of MIPLA, or works part is underneath of planning, whereby is supporting all districts now, provinces, or provincial roads, because we like to be priority in national roads. That's why some of our funds, when we play them, is it not supporting you, now or not all districts, now or even on provincial roads or country, and some other plan. But underneath of these needs, and we like categorizing and putting or funding through of corridors. Remember that our setting for corridors. Now, all funding now we can start putting or sell of corridors. So we don't have rough money, but not the corridor or not the corridor. So we have let's finish the process. Now our plans are like making, and we can start on making. So one time this plan, elderly supporting you now by rule of the funds, rule of Mississippi, now also rule of subdivisional road, long time helping you, but this road for my wife, district, then it was so easy. So, here long parliament, the level to me, but the number that's thank you. Speak.
Honorable members, and we'll let 5 minutes to ask him, talk sabi, and we have to sumok up. Leader of government businesses.
Mr. Speaker, I ask the Parliament to move a motion without notice.
Is leave granted? Leave granted.
Mr. Speaker, I move that some of the standing orders be suspended as would prevent notice number 155, 156, 157, 158, 159, 160, and 161 government business being called on forthwith.
Question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clark.
Notice number 155, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Land and Immigration.
Prime Minister, Mr. Flint, Fiscal Planning.
Mr. Speaker, I present the Land Amendment Bill 2025.
Mr. Clark.
First reading, a bill for an act to amend the Land Act 1996 and for related purposes.
Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Flint, Fiscal Planning.
I ask leave of Parliament to move the second reading forthwith.
Is leave granted? Leave granted. Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Flint, Fiscal Planning.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill now be read a second time.
May you speak.
Mr. Speaker and members of the Honorable House, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the proposed amendment to the Land Act 1996, Physical Planning 1989, Survey Act 1969, Survey Coordination Act 1967, Land Registration Act 1981, and Valuation Act 1967. Mr. Speaker, these legislations are being amended to have new provisions to cater for the electronic platform. This is to reduce cumbersome processes with paper-based approaches and ensure land dealings, including communications, are done in a timely manner and improve overall productivity. Mr. Speaker, each of the legislations have their own business process stipulated that will be improved and enhanced with the implementation of the digital platforms that are tailored to the business processes and needs. Mr. Speaker, these amendments aim to reduce delays in land dealings, modernize administrative processes, and improve communication and productivity within the department and its stakeholders. Mr. Speaker, with respect to the specific legislation, Land Act 1996, amendments were made to allow for the use of electronic platforms and in the administration of state leases, granting of state leases, renewal of expiring state leases, and improving the voluntary mobilization of customary land into bankable state leases, building on from the successful Puhava concept. Mr. Speaker, Land Registration Act 1981. Amendments were made to allow for the use of electronic platforms and to the interpretation of the legislation to harmonize with the Principal Act, that is the Land Act 1996. Physical Planning Act 1989. Amendments were made to allow for the use of electronic platforms. Survey Act 1969. Amendments were made to include provision on electronic platforms. Survey Coordination Act 1967 amendments were made to include the use of electronic platforms. Valuation Act, Mr. Speaker, 1967 amendments were made to include the use of electronic platforms. Mr. Speaker, you will note from the dates attached to these acts of Parliament dealing with land that they are largely older than our country. Further, the overarching aim is to digitalize and streamline land administration laws to reflect modern operational needs. On that note, Mr. Speaker, these amendments are technical amendments. I am happy to announce that a full review of these legislations will commence soon. They are currently underway. Mr. Speaker, major changes and amendments to existing laws require comprehensive consultation. With that, Mr. Speaker, I commend the proposed amendments to the Land Act 1996, the Physical Planning 1989, Surveys Act 1969, Survey Coordination Act 1967, Valuation Act 1967, and Land Registration Act 1981. To the Honourable House and in accordance with the standing orders open today.
Thank you, Mr. Honourable Member Puhava.
Thank you, Speaker. I rise with partial support to the Minister's changes, particularly I'm referencing the amendment to the Land Act, Amendment Bill 2025. I am thankful that the Minister has now, in Section 19, clarified this long overdue confusion, and I commend the Minister for clarifying on particularly subsection 132 on the disposal of customary land. And it is now clear that the people must know that nobody has the power, even the landowner, to sell customary land. Nobody must sell customary land. Those of you in Pali, those of you in Tatana, Hanwabada, my people of Abau, you have now no right to sell any land to anybody. If you think that you have sold a land, that is illegal, and we have to go back to a new agreement for long-term lease. And all this Tauranga Valley land, that is so-called land, Gereka land, that has been sold, it's not sold. And you have to now, Minister, you have to now work on a long-term lease for the people so that our people do not lose the land. We own land and land owns us. That's the saying that we promote. So this alienation has to stop. No more land, people must be alienated from their land. And I want you to further process process so that this provision that subsection 10, a customary land owner has no power to sell customary land, and such a sale is of no effect in law. I want the nation to know, and I commend the Minister for bringing this. It's in law, but it's now further clarified. And also commend the Minister for catching up with the digital age. I think we really have to move to e-land management, e-title application, etc., etc. But I have a concern, Mr. Speaker. But I only got this yesterday, so we haven't had a chance to go through it. And I strongly recommend that, this type of amendments to important issues like Land Act, can they be distributed earlier? Can we not allow Parliament to allow the executive government to take control of the legislature?
Yeah.
So that we are given enough chance to study these important laws. Because the legislature, the executive government is now impacting on the legislature where you are the head of the legislature. And those of us who want to debate proficiently, we can't because we are only given notice 12 hours ago. But as I was reading through, I just want to raise an issue which I could be reading wrongly, and that is that Section 15 of the Land Act, the amendment. Section 15 of the amendment reads, power of minister to grant lease direct. Power of the minister to grant lease direct. Repeal and replacement of Section 72. This plan me worry now. Why should a minister of state have direct powers to approve? Maybe using these electronic processes without going to the land board. That is very important. The land board must vet all these things. Otherwise, as we know, Sampla Minister is good plan, Sampla Minister is not good plan. And so I'm worried about Section 15. I strongly recommend that the Minister can explain to the House the true meaning of Section 15, where he is asking the Parliament to give him power to grant lease direct. And I hope I'm not reading it wrong. Particularly, Section 72K. A lease issued following the expiry of an existing state lease under Section 65(2) without referring the matter to the land board. And we worry now. Without referring the matter to the land board, and the minister by law, we at the Parliament is now going to give him direct authority to directly grant. And so, Mr. Speaker, I raised some concerns, and I only request, I know that they got the numbers to pass this amendment, but I hope that the minister can take up this challenge. And because land is very, very important, we must not allow ministers of land to have excess power. No. They must not be allowed to have excess power to allow direct lease grant. And now that the electronic process has been promoted, it can be done very easily without anybody knowing it, and the title is already transferred, and the agri people will go to court. It takes 40 years to clean it up. Meanwhile, people have died, they have fought over land, some have been killed over land, and so we don't want this to happen. We really want the land laws to be very clear and recognize customary land. The Constitution recognizes how we have been managing customary land tenuously over centuries. The Constitution recognizes it. Emluk Sabe. And in the customary land process, there is no minister in this process, all these thousands of years, that we have managed our own land. No minister has been interfering. And now, in this amendment, unfortunately, maybe I am reading it wrong, but I'm reading what is on paper, and I'm very worried about Section 15, where subheading says, power of minister to grant lease direct. Repeal and replacement of Section 72. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Governor Boro.
Thank you. I stand to support this bill. And just add my comments in relation to this. First and foremost, I want to commend the Minister for taking advantage of the developments in technology countries with migration, and as a result, we're able to see faster processing of visas, passports, and other activities of migration. And I'm quite happy to see that he's doing this in lands. I will support this. Although I do agree with Kumba about his comments that we should ensure that we have necessary mechanisms in place to protect the interests of our people. We're a very blessed country. Probably one of the few countries where our people own their own land. It said 97%. Depends. But it's in that vicinity. Land is precious. It's our form of social security. That's why we have to make a very concerted effort at protecting the interests of the custodians of the land. We have seen many examples of land being stolen, land grab taking place. State land mainly. But now, more and more, we are seeing traditional land also being stolen. What mechanisms are we putting in place to protect traditional landowners? You know that most traditional landowners live on their land. And the deals that are being perpetrated are made by those who are not landowners, but who happen to be residing in towns. Sometimes walking the corridors of various offices in Waikani, pushing papers and documents. The brigade of culprits that often hang around at the back of Broker Post Office with their manila folders and all types of deals that they're cutting with logging companies, mining companies, and whoever else is keen to come and develop a portion of land for whatever reason. So what are we doing to protect the interests of these landowners, genuine landowners, who live on their land, most of whom are illiterate? I found that they're illiterate because they have no reason to leave their land. They've got everything they need there. All their resources are there. So as a result, they tend to be there on their land, often oblivious to the deals that are being concocted for the resources that are on their land or under their land. So once we proceed with various amendments, various efforts to open up our country for investment, we must not forget to put in mechanisms to protect our genuine landowners. Our province, we have stood with our landowners on numerous occasions to fight for their rights. We have won several cases against illegal logging companies. In fact, the most recent was 2 weeks ago, where I was taken to court by a particular company operating illegally, still illegally. Lands Minister, please take it. This company is operating in Wanigala, Ora Province, claiming to be an agroforestry company. It is now encroaching on traditional land, Minister. I have written to your ministry, I have raised this matter with Minister Forest and the various departments. Again, no response. And they took me to court because I dared to stand up for our landowners there. I'm proud to say that I won this case 2 weeks ago. Very good. Against this company that is illegally operating on a portion of land known as Utam Plantation, Minister. And now they are encroaching on traditional land. And it's not just in there, they're doing this in an area known as Musa Pungani as well. Again, another illegal land activity that's taking place there. By again, another company claiming to be an agroforestry research or agroforestry development company, also operating there illegally. Minister Lands, you are also Minister for Migration. And you did a wonderful job by sending your team out there to do a sweep of illegal miners operating in Wagulolo. I believe you deported 19 of them. Minister, there are more than 19 illegals operating in Musa Pungani and Utam Plantation. I can tell you, please send your officers for migration to go and do their job. These are examples of what happens when we don't protect the interests of our landowners. The ones who have elected us to represent them, to speak for them, to stand for them. The ones that we must not forget. When we enter this parliament, we must not abandon them and their dreams and hopes and aspirations at the doorways, but we must bring them with us and fight for their interests at all times. I'm sad to say that in many instances, many government departments now, authorities especially, created to protect protect and promote PNG interests have instead deviated from the interest to protect PNG interests, promote PNG interests, and are instead serving never turns up with some whimsical idea in the back of money. And suddenly they have a license here, a permit there, and they turn up, oftentimes with police. They can even abuse our court systems. And our people don't have the wherewithal to protect their land interests. So in such amendments, what are we doing? To ensure that these people, our illiterate people, but our people, their interests are protected. What are we doing with these amendments? In that regard, I will support this because I see the minister as being a very progressive minister, getting things done. He's doing that with migration, he's doing that with lands, and so therefore I have trust and faith that he's going to do the right thing. But I just want to urge that we also put in place mechanisms to protect our people out there who don't have the financial wherewithal to go to court, to fight and protect their interests. And we must do that on their behalf. It has been said many times that Papua New Guinea is so blessed. It's blessed. It's the land of milk and honey. Moses never made it here. But this is the land of milk and honey. And a lot of people know this. A lot of investors know this. A lot of very ruthless, powerful, insidious forces know this. And they are turning out to rape and plunder. And we are the ones who are supposed to be protecting and promoting the interests of our people. We are not meeting those expectations, I can tell you. If the Forestry Department is any example, if the Lands Department is any example, if the Department of Environment and Conservation is any example, there needs to be a shake-up in these departments. Ministers, when you take office in your ministry, the first thing you should do is do a complete diagnostic of your ministry, your department, your authority, whatever it is that comes under you. Find out if they're performing their duties to the people of Papua New Guinea, 24/7, 365, as they are charged to do, as they sign the oath to do. Are they doing that or not? In many instances, ministers, I will tell you that they're not doing it. And then in some cases, you are not to be fearful, but you have to be aggressive, especially now, going for the next 50 years. We should be making a very assertive, aggressive stance at protecting and promoting the interests of our country and our people, especially those landowners, those illiterate landowners who voted us to be here to protect and promote their interests at all times, 24/7, 365. Here we have all types of characters turning up. Genuine developers, fraudsters and criminal cartels. They're all here rubbing shoulders, operating together. They wear their neckties and speak their fancy language and bring their army of lawyers and accountants, and we might be as well into thinking that they're here to help us. I can tell you in most instances, 90% of them are here for their own reasons. Driven by profit, driven by greed. And we are the people who have been elected here to protect our people and screen them and scrutinize them and see whether they are genuine or not. In our own houses, for instance, we do not allow criminals to come in. We don't allow thieves to walk in. We don't allow rapists and murderers to come and mingle with our children and our families. So we should take that type of stance when we deal with this type of organizations and characters. We should assess whether they're here for genuine reasons or not. That should be the question we ask ourselves. And we've had many inquiries to that effect. For example, the Tospa inquiry. An inquiry into crime, organized crime in the forestry sector. That inquiry came and went and nothing happened. And then the SABL inquiry. Same thing, same players, same people were named, same organizations were identified, also nothing happened. Lots of taxpayer money spent, absolutely no results in regards to the recommendations made in those two inquiries. And if they did an inquiry into fishery, I can tell you it's very similar. The only difference is it's out there in the open sea, so you can't really tell. When it happens in forestry, you can see them cutting the forest, trees are being felled, bulldozers are going through, they're trespassing on traditional land, they're mistreating landowners there. You can see it happening, but out there in open seas you can't. So it's the same. And it's not just fisheries, it's not just forestry, alluvial mining, it's happening. For the next 50 years, what are we going to be doing? Are we going to be complacent? Are we going to ignore our people and then just run back to them every 5 years hoping for their vote, and then once we get it, we abandon them? So questions I'm just posing here whilst debating this very important bill that has been brought to us to consider. I'm proud that in my province I have taken cases on behalf of my landowners on numerous occasions, and we have won 3 of them. But it's been a struggle because the very departments and organizations and authorities and whatnot, filled by Papua by the way, public servants, instead of helping me and my people, they have fought against me and my people. They've sided with these cartels and transfers of criminal organizations. That's what they are. They might be calling themselves investors and developers, but that's not what they really are. If you were to peel the sheep skin, you'll find the wolf skin right there. And if you even were to remove that, there are the snake skins. Many of them are here operating in our hotels. They walk through our government departments. They turn up here. They communicate with us. They ask for coffee and sit down and say, Minister, Donald, I have some things I wish to discuss with you. They wear their neckties and they speak their fancy English and they carry their army of accountants and lawyers. And we're mesmerized by them into thinking that, my goodness, this person, well, he looks like Jesus, so he must be right. And therefore he's here for good reasons and purposes. But oftentimes that's not the real reason why he's here. They're here to rape, plunder, and steal our resources. Must never forget that. Not all of them, but quite a few. Yes, I will support this bill. I'm very supportive of the Minister for Land and Migration. He's doing a magnificent job, working on developed technology, rapidly progressing technology. The internet is here, the age of information and misinformation. AI is now here. Finally, I just want to say that we have to start educating our public servants, our people, our children about this advancing technology, and we have to utilize it for the good of our people, put in place those necessary mechanisms to protect our people, especially our landowners. And before I wrap up, I do know that the member for Koyari has some proposals and some ideas on land management. I think these are great ideas. We should embrace them. They propose how best we can manage our land and protect them for our landowners, our traditional landowners, and ensure that as long as we are in charge of our land, we will remain a robust United Nations moving forward. Thank you.
Honourable Member for Hiri Koyari.
Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity to add my debate. This looks quite important. These various amendments in the land sector. Before I do, I'd like to also acknowledge the presence of the students from the Edebu Adventist Primary School in Hiri Koyari district. I welcome them and thank you for sitting through this very important hearing this morning. On the same token, I welcome to the floor the member for Central Bougainville, Honourable Lenny Toro, to serve as people on matters concerning this nation. I also stand here, Mr. Speaker, to support these amendments to primarily to the Land Act 1996, various provisions therein. And I adopt the sentiments and commentary shared by the debaters before myself, Honourable Sir Pukatemu and the Good Governor for Oro, Honourable Gary Jufa. But I'd like to add some thoughts, and it's my contribution to these amendments. For the record, on one side, and the good Minister for Lands and Deputy Prime Minister could kindly take on some of these views. And whilst I support these amendments, Mr. Speaker, I want to make commentary in relation to about 4 or 5 matters that are glaringly of some concern to a certain degree. First, Mr. Speaker, is in relation to the definition of customary landowners. Under the interpretation provision, section 2 of the Primary Act, it says customary landowners, according to the amendment, will be included the following. Means a clan, a lineage, family, extended family, or other group of persons who hold or are recognized under custom as holding rights and interests in customary land, and includes as land group incorporated under the Land Groups Incorporation Act, Chapter 147. Mr. Speaker, this is a serious concern. It has been tested and proven that the ILG Act has been a failure in this country. It is a cause for a lot of litigation in the courts, and this is how it works. In a nutshell, the ILG Act can be formed by, under the ILG Act can be formed by any manner of people in this country. Not necessarily genealogically connected, by biology or otherwise, or even related to any spatial land geography at all. There is a great risk of how this ILG Act has been implemented in this country since its inception. The ILG Act, the background of the ILG Act, we must understand, was brought forth by the colonial administration to put into groups in their language, Kanakas, or Plesman, who were not identified or seen through the eyes of the law as legal entities, and that is the clans. And so that was proposed under the White Australian policy at the time. I say this out of unreservedly, by the colonial administration pre-independence, to give it prominence and to give it cognizance under the post-independence legislation within the process of post-independence decolonization. It's a fallacy and it's a high risk. It's very dangerous. Because we also know that there are ILGs in the courts on top of ILGs, and the ILG inventory suggests spaces of land that don't even belong to people who claim to own this land. The definition now, a dangerous one, gives those rogue elements the legal right to have claim over land. We're not in owning Slaughterhouse ground. We have people who have only sit here 50 years and now claim ownership in areas outside the Hiri Area. People from other districts in Papua New Guinea. Even within several provinces, we have this problem. Inter-district and outside of the district into other provinces, coming into different provinces. Hiri Area, for instance. The same is true in Morobe province and every other province, I'm sure. Same is another, maybe it's because of marriage. I don't know. But 20 years living there does not entitle you or anybody in this country a genealogical connection to the land that you sit on or you squat on. It cannot be disallowed. We have to be very careful and respectful of our people and our indigenous respective lines of genealogy. And number one thing, number two, area that I contribute, Mr. Speaker, is positive and also negative. And that is section 132 of the proposed amendment deals with a declaration that any purported disposal of land is criminal. And I commend the good minister for this.